That's really harsh. Man, you're such a mean dad. Why are you punishing him? Hey, Sebastian. Today we're talking about one of the hardest jobs a father has, which is how do you love your son unconditionally while still preparing him for manhood? Like you shared with me previously that you actually asked your oldest son, Caleb, to move out like years ago out of your house because he wasn't participating as part of the family. So when most people hear that, they're hearing like, man, that's really harsh. Man, you're such a mean dad. Man, why are you punishing him? Can you just tell me again what happened?
Sure. So let me just tell you right now, I am sitting in Orange County, California, where I used to live for 25 years. This happened 5 years ago, maybe approximately 5 years ago. And tomorrow is his wedding. And I'm preparing the wedding speech, and this came up. So I said, man, this is a perfect topic in time. So what happened, I believe it was 5 years ago, it was around COVID. Yeah, because he was 21. He came home because of COVID. He was living on his own. He came home during COVID. He was staying in the garage. We had a two-car garage, and we turned it into like a housing area. I've had some disciples live, two grown-ass men live there for 6 months to a year. Then I had my office in there. We played poker and cigars. Huge. It's huge. So he had this whole place, heavy bag, weight room, all that to himself.
I think it was a new
But
house too, was it? Was it?
no,
No, you
no,
were in
we lived there.
California at the time.
Yeah, I was in California. It was not my
Yeah.
Colorado house. Yeah, it was my California house. It's huge though. Where he was saying California situation, he had basically his own studio apartment. I mean, it was great. The only thing he didn't have in there was a full kitchen, right? Anyways, we just took my third son to Colorado because he was looking at Fort Collins as the city. Fort Collins, go to Colorado State University up there, and I've never seen Colorado. I fell in love with the state. Long story. We drove down Colorado Springs. My mind blew. I thought I was in another country. It was gorgeous. That weekend, I put money down, bought a piece of land, and hired someone to build a house. That same weekend, we're just visiting him for college, a college place. Came back, told the family, hey, we're moving to Colorado Springs. Of course, my wife is there with me. She bought in. But the kids didn't know. And everything's happening fast because we just put money down to build a
Hmm.
house. We're going to go there and watch and build a house, all this good stuff. And so the realtor said the market's really hot. We can sell all. I'm not going to make the house super clean and all that. The house will sell itself, the location, all that. But we had to get a whole bunch of junk out. I mean, we had 4 kids at the time. Sailor's just born. She's 5 maybe at that time. 3 teenage sons. Kev was the oldest. He's 21. Well, actually, not 3 teenage. They all just graduated. Holy crap.
Hmm.
But we had all of
Whoa.
them living in the house. We had to gut it out just so it's house ready for other people to move in, look at and stuff. Listen, we're on the timeline. We have less than a week to move. We got the storage unit. We bought the rental truck. We rented the rental truck, and we had to move the first load out that night. And so we're telling them, hey, family meeting. This is what's happening. You guys know we're crazy. We're gonna move fast, but we need everybody to pitch in. Can everybody pitch in tonight? If you have anything, please reschedule unless it's emergency. Everybody rescheduled their hangout time, whatever. Caleb said, no, I got to go. I got something I can't recancel. We're like, what the hell are you doing? You know how urgent this is. He goes, I got to go work out. I go, say it again. He had to go work out. That was his me time, right? I said,
Yeah.
okay, said, I get it, but hey, this is urgent, important. This, everybody contributing as a family, and I need to get your crap out of your stuff too, right? And he's like, well, I'll come by. I'll do it after workout. I said, that's not going to work for me. You're not putting family first. You're not seeing how urgent this is. You're running your own agenda and schedule, and then shit hit the fan, and it was on like Donkey Kong. It was
Mm.
crazy. It,
What
it
do you
was,
mean by like shit hit the fan?
man. Then he started justifying. I raised my voice. He raised his, and it got a point where I'm up in his grill saying, "Motherfucker!" I mean, I'm cussing. The boys are screaming.
Yeah.
Sailors crying. I mean, it got violent verbally fast.
Mm.
But you have to understand, everything's gradually and suddenly. That one event didn't do it. He was acting like an ass previous to that. Now you have to understand, he was used to living on his own, having his own agenda. He comes home, he gets his home garage. It's like being on your own, so he's not really in the house interacting with the family a lot. But he was treating his siblings like crap. He wasn't taking priority of the household, our needs, just coming in for your eating when he wants, like a roommate type of thing. And
Mm.
we get it. It was hard. COVID came out of nowhere. It's stressful, and we're giving a lot of room slack. But there was tension just building up all up until then. That's all. No, with his brothers, with his mom, with and now with me, and now with the move and asking him to shift his workout schedule. It was intense, bro.
Mm.
So if anybody believes something happens in that moment, you're naive. Everything happens gradually, and then suddenly the bottom falls out, or suddenly things get great. but it's always a sudden that triggers that moment.
So your guys are you made a request for him. He's basically living for free. I think that's what I heard. Pretty much you're taking care of everything. He's acting like living like a roommate for most part, but he's still a part of the family. He's not completely separated from the family. You made this request from him and he was preoccupying and prioritizing something very short term for his benefit regardless of what's going on with the people that have supported him up until then.
That's the
And
bottom line. He was just thinking about
bottom line.
himself and not serving the family. That's the bottom line.
So what happened afterwards? So you guys are in this tense moment. Things are blowing up. You're in his grill. Then what?
I'm not sure. I don't remember because everything got red, but I'm pretty sure it said, you think you're a man, you want to punch me right now? Or I was up in his face. Then the boys jump in and split it up. Mom's crying. Sailor's crying. Mom wasn't crying. She's just screaming or something. Sailor's crying. It was very messy. Then I just simply said this. Listen, motherfucker, literally. You got to 10 p.m., just like middle afternoon. You got 10 p.m., get all your shit out where it's gonna be on the streets for people to take. I mean, I did. And just get out of my face. I mean, it was that intense.
So a lot of parents are hearing this right now. It's like, oh man, that's so harsh. You know, he had his own agenda. You know, he's not really. How do you know to differentiate between, hey, this is about a family priority, and you got to set this aside of your needs, your wants, and your priorities to fit into family? Where do you find that balance, I guess? Where do you find that guideline to say, no, this is something I got to stand up for and I can't tolerate this versus, you know what, I'm just making it about me. I just want to punish him for being asked, not doing what I want him to do and enforcing this authority. Where's the difference between you protecting something versus using it as a punishment towards him?
Yep. So make a distinction here. I'm glad you said the word because it pisses me off. There's no such thing as balance. Balance
Balance.
equals
Yep.
stagnation. Like you're saying, you're like, no, this is a priority. And how did I prioritize what I'm hearing you say? Expecting him to give up his agenda and make the family's agenda first in that moment. Is that what you're saying? And here's where my
Yeah,
expectation
because
comes from.
yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I'm that's exactly right. Because I'm just thinking as a father myself, like I'm questioning, hey, am I being too harsh here? Am I being too, I'm patient here? Am I being too passive? And do I need to attack this now or let it go? And so I would battle with myself. So how are you timing this? What are you using to
no, that's a great
base this
question.
decision off of?
So that's a great question. So we all have this. We have it more informally. And when we mature as a family, we make it formal. It's called a frame. And a frame is simply a borderline, like a picture frame. Some people's frames are circular, some are triangular, some are rectangular, some are square. But a frame is just a boundary line that you set for your family. And the reason we have different shapes, it's just a metaphor for different expectations. And so every family has a frame, they know it or not. There is a frame. And like with my youngest daughter, Selah, her frame, she knows if she wants something, come to dad because he never says no. It's just expectation is a frame, right? So in our frame, it's usually most people, 90% of people, if not 95, have an unspoken frame. Ours is spoken. Like I have a frame. Anybody leaves that house, you have to come give me a hug and kiss before you leave. Because the lifestyle I grew up in, I literally saw people walk away from me saying bye. You're pop, pop, gunshots. They got shot in back head, execution style, dead right there in front of me. I mean, like on the other side of the door, other side of the restaurant, other side of the club, whatever it may be. So I've lived a life where you're not promised tomorrow or the next second. So I've told my family, and listen, Donna's in a hurry. She'll leave the house, and I'll go, excuse me. I'll yell, damn it. She has to turn
Yeah.
around in the house, come back in, give me a hug and a kiss. And I'm busy. But you know what? I don't want to be the last thing is seeing her walk out. We didn't just acknowledge each other. So that is a spoken frame. Everybody knows it. You cannot leave without giving each other a hug and kiss and just acknowledge each other. Slow down a moment. We're not promised tomorrow. Car accidents happen all the time. And so that's like a non-negotiable for me. Right? If we can't slow down for that, we're doing something too fast and we're not prioritizing our life. Another spoken frame is that we make each other a priority when we're in this house. When you live in another house, you're under a different roof, and if it's yours, you can prioritize what we want. But here, we serve each other. That's the context of family. That's the different parts of the body. The hand's different from the foot, but when I need to scratch my back, my hand scratches my back. My hand scratches my knee, my leg, whatever. So we make that a verbal, understood thing. And we don't use that card very often. But when we call each other
Yeah.
and say, hey, my car broke down, I need your help or something, we drop things down for each other. Hey, you're sitting around the house playing video games at home. You're sitting there watching TV. You don't drop things, go help somebody who had a car accident or ran out of gas or whatever needs picking up. And I'll give you, it's easier when they're younger. When they're older, it's kind of already spoken because they've known it. But this is what I just told Sayla lately. She's 15 and she's a varsity cheerleader, so she has friends who are driving already. And so she goes out a lot. And one time she took her scooter to her friend's house. She said, battery died. I thought it was fully charged. Sorry, Dad, can you come pick me up? I go, listen, you need to know you call me anytime, anywhere, any place. I'll always come pick you up. I don't care with or without scooter. And I told her that like 5 times already. So then we start making that a spoken frame or expectation. The frame is really just expectation guidelines that we're committed to and we live by as a family. It defines our culture. Now at work, you have the exact same thing. You have a frame at work. Everybody here has a frame at work. Either you're a business owner, you work for someone, but you set up a frame and you stepped into that frame. Either your business create that frame, you a business owner, you create that frame, but everybody has a frame. They step into work. But what you don't do consciously, and you have a workbook manual at the office that people know, but at home, we usually don't write a frame manual. We need to, I think. I think it'd be great. But if you keep it simple enough, 3 to 5 frames only, mix the box or triangle, circle, right? Then you don't have to have an employee manual, but you do have a covenant that everybody agrees to and how we live and serve and take care of one another. Was that clear enough for you?
Yeah, it was. And I want to ask too, what was it like? Did you always have this frame? And if you didn't, what was life like when you didn't have this frame? Or like you said, you had it, it just wasn't spoken and communicated.
Yeah. So what happens when you don't have a spoken and clear frame is you don't have a clear culture. People don't know what you stand for. So people naturally are going to manipulate and take advantage of you for their benefit. Not because they're evil and bad. All of us are in survival mode. All of us are fallen short of glory of God. So we're not the intended version God wants us to be, and that makes us insecure. We clothe ourselves with animal hair and stuff, Adam and Eve. See, we're so insecure. We can't walk around naked anymore because our comparison insecurity. So if you don't have a frame, and when I didn't have a frame, that's when I had most people manipulate, use me because they didn't know what I stood for. I didn't give people a reason to reject me, so I never gave people a reason to accept me. So let me put that framework into a very simple example. I'm in Orange County, California right now. Everybody here is pretty much either an Angels fan or LA Dodgers fan. And they're wearing their shirts or hats. I mean, they label themselves. But I just went to Costco. If somebody has an LA Laker hat on, guess what they did? Gave me a reason to reject them. Then I had a reason to accept them. I said, oh, I hate the freaking LA Dodgers. Those guys are losers. He said, I don't give a crap. That's my team. Or I say, dude, I love the LA Dodgers, right? And then we start having a conversation. He gave me a reason to accept him. But if he had no hat on, guess what? I can manipulate him, talk about other sports, do other things, because I know he's not standing for anything in the context of baseball and baseball cap, right? He's not standing
Yeah.
for anything. And that's what happened to me for years before I became a Christian, years before I understood this context of managing expectations and creating frames, is people would take advantage of me because they don't know if I'm going to college. Listen, if I know you're working full time, you're going to college, and you're living at home, that's a frame. I know you're super busy because you're going to college, you're working a full time job, you have family members you're submit. I'm not going to ask you, hey, let's come over. Can I bring girls over, drugs, and hang out and party? Well, first of all, that's not your lifestyle. You're working full time, you're going to college, and you're living with your family. Why would I ask you that? Because you gave me a reason to reject you. Now I have a reason to accept you. Now, if I had my own apartment, I'd never talk to my family. I don't work. I sit around and smoke pot all day. Do you think I'm going to invite myself over with some women, drugs, alcohol, and just do nothing all day? Hell yes, I am. Because you told me your frame.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. And a couple of things are just coming up for me, like the word manipulation when I don't have a frame. And how does that kind of play into the gospel? Like you said, you brought up Adam and Eve a little bit as well. But how does it show up in the gospel about having frames? How does it relate with God and discipleship and just building a kingdom?
That's a great question. And it's a very simple answer. The snake will come at you, the serpent. Hey, did God really say that? Shit, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to details. I don't even know the frame. So I'm gonna go my emotions. Nah, he didn't say that. Do you see that? If there's not a frame, I can manipulate you because now I'm manipulating your emotions. You are not
Mm-hmm.
objectively clear.
Mm.
You're more
Yeah.
emotionally easily to be manipulated.
And I just think about a time for me, like earlier on as a business owner, and my team members, not intentionally, would manipulate me so easily because I didn't have like this clear frame, like you said. I didn't have a standard. I didn't have like operating procedures or like even a roles and responsibilities list. And they were like, oh, I thought, it's this person's responsibility. I'm like, oh, okay. But no, they're just defaulting responsibility here and there and creating stories that serve them. It's not their fault, like you said. People just can be naturally like that. But when I have a clear frame like I do now, there's clear expectations. I know what to expect from one person versus another, and I keep it objective. I don't jump into my emotions, get angry when something doesn't happen. I just look at the standards. I look at the frame and what's not happening or what's being broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely
Just
right.
as a
You're
business
just
owner, it's just a huge cost for on my end. You know what I mean? Because when I'm taken advantage of, it's real time, immediately, not just emotionally, but financially as well. So just going back to the word frame, having a standard is what I'm hearing from you. And tell me more about the standard with not being manipulated by the serpent, by a snake, by being manipulated by lies. How else does a frame serve someone to not to be manipulated?
That's a great question. And the way you don't get manipulated, because every frame has a membership. Meaning, when you're in a family, you define the membership or the price of being a member there is we serve one another, is we pick up our food behind each other. There's no maid living here. Your mother is not a maid. Hotel. We respect one another. See, the price of membership of each frame. People that work for you, once they walk in, there is a price of membership to work there. You have integrity. You do not lie and gossip. My former business partner, I love he implemented this just like 20 years ago. He implemented his company at that time, was probably 100, 120 people. Immediate termination for gossiping. He written that in his employee handbook because he will not tolerate that because he understands the power of lies and it could
Mm.
tear up a company, is unproductive, all these things. So there is a membership in every frame. Now listen, everywhere we go has a frame. No, I live in Colorado. I have a concealed carry license, but the frame of going to schools, there's no guns allowed, even if you have a concealed carry permit in a church and stuff like that. So even though I have the license concealed carry, and 90% of places I go with it, there's other places if I go in, I have to submit to their frame, and they said no concealed carry. So every frame has a defined membership in your boy behavior within that frame. Does
Do
that
you
make
think
sense?
like yeah, it does. And I'm just thinking so would you say can you possibly have too harsh of a frame? Like I'm just thinking like what's too harsh? What if I'm being too hard on my kids or my team members or whatever it is? If look mean, you know what I mean? Just because I'm a natural people pleaser. I want to be known as just. I want to be fair, right? Is there
Bro,
such thing as too harsh of a frame?
well, first of all, when you ask me that question, I laugh because my first thought is that you're a kitty cat, and you know what word I'm really thinking of. No, listen, if you're in the military compared to a bowling league, is a military frame too harsh? No, there's
No.
keeping your life safe, keeping the guys around you safe, and you're protecting your fucking country. Now, in a
Mhm.
bowling league, you can be drunk as hell. You could throw the ball backwards, and we're all gonna laugh and have fun because it's a lighter frame. So the context is how hard or what is harsh. Are you gonna let some bowling alley attitude come into a military frame? Hell no. I cannot trust that person protect me. If we go to war, that person can get me killed. They're not trained and equipped. So is that considered harsh? No, it's what's appropriate.
Mhm.
Now, if that bowling guy says, man, I don't want to be in this frame, get the hell out. Get
Mhm.
out of this frame. Don't go into the military. Go back to your bowling league with your big beer belly and drinking another keg of beer. That's me, by the way. That's okay. That's okay. That's the frame is not harsh. The frame's set for a significant pattern. Our frame, since Donnie and I failed forward making all this, was always to make our kids independent.
Mm.
Independent. If they don't like that frame, get out. I just sent Sayla a video, CC Donna, and it's this therapist talking about we do too much for our kids. We create them to be entitled and able in this generation, blah, blah, blah. I want to say, see, baby, that's why I do make you open your own Amazon packages even when you're struggling. She's like, Dad, help me. I said, nope. She was pissed. She's my
Yeah.
princess. Just something little like that. Because
Mm.
if they're not independent, when they leave our home, guess what they are?
Pretty disabled, very
Codependent.
dependent on someone,
Yep, codependent.
gonna be needy.
Very needy. And she's a female. I'm not going to have her codependent on any other man. The only person she's
Mhm.
codependent on is Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
So we weren't smart. We weren't taught. We created and built this along the way. And we said at least one variable is they're going to be independent. Seth went to college up in Fort Collins, Colorado State University. He said the girls there got drunk every night as a freshman. He was not
Mhm.
attracted to that behavior. The guys in his room, freaking pigs. They didn't know how to do laundry. He had to teach them how to do laundry. In our household, when they're younger, when age appropriate, we let them unload the dishes, but Selah or at a certain age, you couldn't touch the knife trays. Plates and all that, break it, who gives a crap? But knives, you can hurt yourself. Then they got older, they loaded it. When they got older, it did the
Mhm.
laundry. Selah was making her bed, doing the laundry, like all the boys when they're in elementary. I forgot what age, but they're in elementary. They all had chores, do vacuum the house, clean the house. Every Saturday morning, we did all that before they go do their stuff. But the point is, most families would say that is harsh. Let your kids be kids. Let them
Mhm.
enjoy themselves on it. Shut the hell up. You don't tell me how to run my family. This is my friend. My kids don't like it. They're CPS. You go to them, they'll put you in another house. But now they're all adults living out on their own. They have told us 100 times. They've told our friends. Thank God my mom taught me how to do laundry, taught me how to cook, taught me how to do this and that. Because their friends are like Seth will not have roommates because they're all dirty, sloppy pigs, and it drives them crazy. It's hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
So there's no harsh frame. It's
Mhm.
appropriate to the context and outcome you want to create, even at your work. Even at your work. If your work is not getting the desired results, you have a bad culture. You need to tighten that culture up. You need to get clear what the culture is representing and the desire and the outcome. And we work with business owners all the time, and that's where a lot of them fail because they'd rather be liked than have a culture that holds a frame and standard of excellence that they're delivering.
So how would, for me, when you talk about this frames, I'm hearing that for your family, you want this frame of we want independence. We want them to be independent adults that are, self-sufficient. What is the frame for our children in the gospel, based off of the gospel? Is there a purpose for families as a father?
Well, it says, raise your child in a way that grow, that they will not depart from it. And that means depart from God's word. So it's more than practical frameworks, it's more principles like love one another, forgive one another, serve one another. So those principles have the skeleton, we get to put the flesh on it, right? But then we call that consequences. So you create the culture, the membership or the cost of being a part of that culture, your expectation contributing in that culture. Now, the third step is you have consequences, meaning
Mm,
you allow them naturally suffer.
mm,
Consequence, I'll give an example. One of our friends, so remember, we run life different, but we just found it works for us. Sayla, right now, I'll use it because she's the only one at home. She's about to be out of the house. The three boys, I talk about how they used to be in the past, but I'll use relevant context. She has to feed the dogs before she goes to school. She has to take out poop Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. She has to take out the trash. So if Donna asks, honey, do you feed the dogs? I lose my mind. I was on a text thread, me, her, and Sayla, and she'd say, anybody feed the dogs yet? I go, take me off this text thread. It's not my job, not my responsibility. I'll never feed them. Hung up, took
mm,
myself off text thread, right? It pisses me off because we're enabling her not to be independent and do her job. Donna, I had this
mm,
conversation a million times. She just can't help it. She's a mom, right? That's her story.
mhm. Yeah,
I
that's my
forgive
wife's
her
story
70
too.
times.
But she's
I forgive her 70 times seven a day. That's my story.
yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you're giving fathers a practical process to build their own frame. I think I heard like step one was like they just have to define the culture that they even want to create.
No more than 3 to 5 boundaries or lines.
Okay, three or five like non-negotiables. You're willing to lose people over this.
Right now, we are in a war with Iran, and they call it a red line. They're trying to do peace
Mm,
treaties and negotiation. And they said, this is a red line, but you can't cross it. You cannot have nuclear arms. It's a red line. That's what a frame is. You have three
mhm,
to five lines, red lines, that other people cannot cross. Second,
mm,
once you define that, they say, as a member of this frame, a member of this family, a member of this business, right? This is your expectation, me being in this frame. This is how I contribute in this frame. So their roles clearly get defined, just like your
Hmm.
roles and expectations of your employees get defined. So a
Yeah,
family
it's
member's
like
role,
almost like how do you now support the culture? Is that what
yes,
you mean by define the membership? Like now, how do you just support the culture? What actions would each of these individuals be having, taking, the conversations they have in order to sustain that culture?
yep, to honor that culture, support that
Hmm.
culture, right? Then the third
Yeah.
one, inside of it, you got to let them have consequences, natural consequences, breaking the frame or their own roles.
Yeah. So you're almost like patient. It's not that you're waiting for them to mess up. We're human. We're going to naturally mess up. But so what you're saying is you can even see sometimes how they will be messing up because of what's missing and you allow them to. Or do
Yes.
you stop them from even creating the action and protect them from that consequence?
No, if you stop them, you're enabling them to stay where they're at. Most life lessons are found in our mess ups. And if we can clean it
Mm.
up, then we'll level up. So here's the deal. Sailor doesn't pick up the dog poop on the day she's supposed to. Sun gets hot outside in Colorado. It stinks. We have people in Airbnb in our basement. They smell it. Guess what? That's not good Airbnb review. So we pay the consequences. Second, then Sailor doesn't get to go out with her friends that weekend. That man, just because she didn't pick up dog poop on her day? Yes. Because the natural consequences is this. You didn't do what's expected of you. You're not living out to the fullest of your commitment being a member of this frame, this culture, and there's consequences because the culture will collapse without you constantly knowing your contribution. And if your contribution is not had, there's consequence. But guess what?
Hmm.
That consequence, not being with her friends that weekend, I almost will bet you certainty she will never forget feed the dogs again because her values be with her friend the whole weekend will be the reminder of her responsibility, her contribution to this family and the culture. Now
So is
you
it the
rescue
same thing
her.
as, go ahead.
Go ahead. Same thing as
No, you finish up that first
I'm just
because
saying
I'm going to.
if you rescue her, she'll never grow up and you have double problems. The dog shit still out there and stinks. We're enabling her to go out with her friends. We have consequences at home. She never grows up. It's just a cascade effect.
So how's this different from like a punishment? Because for me, what I'm hearing is, oh yeah, you didn't do that, you didn't get A's, whatever it is. So there's this punishment. Is it a punishment and consequence the same thing, or are they different?
No, so see, it's the way you define it in the context. Punishment usually sounds negative, but we just today got a court case hearing here in Texas, where you live. These two high schoolers got in a fight at a football game. One guy stabbed the other guy in the chest, killed him. It'd been a year now. The court case just came out. He was pleaded guilty. So consequences of killing someone is by due process. He's going to prison. I think 30 something years for murder. Is that a punishment? No. Is it a consequence? Yep. It's jumping off the roof. Listen, God created gravity. It's the law. There's a law
Mm-hmm.
called gravity. You jump off the roof, you're going to twist your ankle. Jump off a 2-story, you might break something. Jump off 5-story, you will die. You think I'm joking? My cousin died in Paris. I think it was a 5 or 7-story balcony he fell out of. He died. This is not a metaphor. You cannot break the law and not have consequences. You want to call it
Mm-hmm.
punishment? If you're a victim, or you can learn from your mistakes and others' mistakes and not do it. See, that's the gift. If there's a consistent consequence, everybody learns from it. I don't have to be stupid. I can learn from your mistakes. You cheat on your wife, she divorced you. I don't cheat on my wife to learn that I'll get divorced. Just watch other stupid dumb men who done it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Why would we
yeah.
use the word punishment versus
Yeah.
consequence?
I feel, and when I hear the word punishment, it's almost like I want fairness and even scales and just like a righteous punishment for them. And it's
Yeah.
almost like beating them for where they're at versus the consequences. It's a building block for where they're going. It's
Thank you.
constructive versus destructive.
Think about that. If you really want to be fair, we all deserve death and hell.
Hmm.
People are stupid. Sorry, I get frustrated with this, especially Christians. Oh, that's not fair. Everything's fair. Fair, fair, fair. You know what's fair? We all deserve death and hell. He's given us grace and mercy. And so, from out of the context of grace and mercy, it's not punishment. Man, it's grace and mercy, but there are consequences of breaking laws. Is it
Hmm.
punishment that I drove 75 in the 55 zone and he takes me, Joe, because it's 20 miles over speed limit? I have to pay post bail or stay overnight? Is that a punishment? No, he is protecting other people from dumbass me. That's not, as a consequence, me thinking I'm above the law. So if you want fair,
Yeah.
shit, you should be celebrating every day, every second. We're one grace away for getting what we deserve.
So just to recap too. So to create a family frame, for a man to create a family frame, it's setting the culture first, defining it, then defining what membership would look like for them, they can contribute towards that culture, allowing someone to, this third step would be to allow them to experience consequences, the members in that family. Anyone under that frame, allow them to have consequences to build them up. But that's really hard too for a lot of parents. Like at least for me and a lot of Asian cultures too, households, just
Mm-hmm.
parenting in general, we feel guilty when we
Yeah.
see our kids suffer. We feel guilty when they are uncomfortable. Like we'll make them 5 other meals. I'm seeing kids, especially in this generation. Oh, my kids don't eat that, so I'm gonna make them a totally different meal for the rest of the family. Compared to the rest of the family. Oh, and they might not like that, so they feel bad, so they create multiple different avenues for them to keep them comfortable. Because it's hard as a parent. We feel guilty if our kids are uncomfortable. So what would you say? How do you make sure you kind of hold that frame? How do you hold that standard without just enabling them and then making them ensuring that they're comfortable?
See, that's the first thing. Your frame is about comfortability. It's not about independence. See, that's where you're already screwed. You can't
Yeah.
have both. If you teach them to be independent, they will not be comfortable. Jesus said, after not Jesus, God said after we screwed up in Garden Eden, God kicked them out of Garden Eden. Why? It was comfortable. That's where they were at. Safety zone.
Mhm.
Nope. Now the frame has changed. Now it's about independence. Get out. Rely on my mercy and grace. See, we want our kids to be comfortable because it's more about us and our identity. We haven't maturated or matured to be Christ-like.
So you're saying we make it more about us than we even do the maturation of our own children? I think that's what I heard.
Hell yes.
And that's,
And that's
yeah.
and that's your frame. You're living into your frame of being comfortable because when our kids are comfortable, guess what? We look good. Think about it. Let it soak in. You don't have a frame of independence because it would be harder for us as parents because we allow our kids to experience the consequences of breaking a frame. See, we're still about
Yeah.
us. That's the sin nature. We have made everything about us. And our job is to make disciples. Making disciples is not about us. It's about teaching them what God has taught us so they can be independent and trusting on God. I
Hmm.
had a client this morning, did not do his work before the call. And I just sat there on call and said, well, we have nothing to talk about. We just stared at each other literally because I can't be more passionate for your life, your career, your family, nothing, because I'll become your savior and I'll get crucified.
Hmm.
So the point
They
is
have someone
this:
to blame.
they have some blame when the life doesn't work for them. They're not taking full responsibility. See, I choose not to keep you comfortable. I choose you to
Yeah.
be independent. And I'm telling you, it's hard. It is hard. I'm telling you, I watch families. Oh man, in the Vietnamese culture is one thing, and I freaking lose my mind. I mean, like I can't be in the same room. They take food, they chase their kid around to feed them. Two,
Hmm.
three year
Yeah.
old,
Yep.
4 year old, even four. I'm like, what the F is going on? That kid can pick up his own spoon, put it in his own mouth. Why the hell are you chasing him around? Do you know what you're creating? Entitlement. A little king, a little queen. You're their
Hmm.
servant, running around feeding them.
Yeah.
They have not had discipline
A
to
little a
stop
little
playing.
King Joffrey.
Exactly. High chair tyrant. And I'm telling you, that drives me freaking nuts, bro. I can't do it. I'll walk out of the room. I cannot be around that context.
Hmm.
And the parents aren't bad. They're doing their best. No one has
Hmm.
taught. That's why I'm so committed to what we're doing, Danny. All this because no one has discipled us, mentored us, taught us. So we keep on repeating the sins of the generation before us. The parents aren't bad. Your wife's not bad. My wife's not bad. They're doing their best. But here's when it comes bad. Ready? When they know the truth and they choose not to do it, that's what's called sin.
Hmm.
Because they're sinning. They're missing Mark God's intent plan. They're making it more about themselves than building up the next generation.
I'm just thinking about for my oldest son, Jaden, he bought his own car when he's 17, 16, and he suffered so much, and it was so easy for me to step in and buy him the car, take care of it for him, let him focus on his studies, which a lot of parents do, and I'm not saying anything about it, but I just saw that my son suffering in the heat, dressing up as an Easter bunny, mowing grass, doing whatever he can. Now, at the age of 18, he'll be 19 this year. He just has a different level of confidence. knowing that he created that he suffered. He still brings up, remember that job I had to take? Remember I did this because to earn my car and things like that. And he just holds himself with a little bit more like, hey, I can do this on my own. But I, as a parent, really had to bite my tongue, hold back, and let him see him, like, just observe him suffering, let him steamroll it forward.
So
And
let
that
me
was
ask you
just
a
really
question.
hard.
Maybe it's my internet connection, but I hear a whole bunch of shit come out of your mouth. Who was suffering? Him or you?
Yeah, I mean, me, he was suffering, but I was suffering watching him.
He wasn't
But
suffering.
it was
He
him.
just told you.
Yeah.
No, he was not suffering.
Yeah.
You're suffering. He's
Mm-hmm.
not suffering. It gave him character. He had suffering builds perseverance, perseverance builds character, character gives hope. He was reminiscing. Remember, I can do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a badass. I know your son. I'm about to see him here next day for the wedding. I spent time with him in Vietnam. Never rode a motorcycle before. First time, he did better than you and the other guy who's never rode before. But Joey's low bar standard, so we won't tell everybody his name.
I hope he's
You three
watching.
were a shit show. Donna was praying for
Yeah.
your son, thinking he's the
Yeah.
worst. He was the best out of you
Yeah.
three. We
He's
need to
the
pray more
best.
for you.
Yeah.
Who was really suffering? Not
Yeah.
him. You were. And
Mhm.
if it's literally suffering, how old was he when he bought his first car, you said?
He's like early 17, I think,
That's not
over a
suffering.
year ago. Yeah.
What a 17-year-old can endure than a 27-year-old, 37-year-old, 47-year-old, 50, that's not suffering.
Mm-hmm.
See, we think suffering is discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
How do you grow character? Good times create soft men. Hard times create strong men. We have been in a season of all these little wusses with good times. Internet access.
Mm-hmm.
The United States has been flourishing. We're about to go through some hard times. And these men will not know what to do. None of them have ever fasted one day in their life. They're going to lose their mind. None of them ever had the
Yeah.
internet turned off for one day. They don't know what to do without a phone in their hand. They're not going to be able to go to the restroom, take a shit or piss without a phone in their hand.
Yeah.
Think about it. I do it. I go, oh, I got to go to the restroom. Where's my phone? You were suffering. Your son was not suffering. You were discomforted because you can't rescue and save him. You can't protect him because you forgot he already has a savior. His name is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's what we have to step up into as parents. Listen, you'll always find the greatest family trauma in two circumstances: weddings and funeral. My son's wedding is a crap show already. I'm not rescuing him. I'm not jumping in. Family
Yeah.
members are angry. Things happen wrong. Other people got invited before other people. It's just a shit show. People get over it. It's about him. It's really about her. It's her wedding. And my future daughter-in-law. But you know what? People have to go. They're making it about them. They forgot. Donna and I sat here and talked and said, remember how we had our wedding? We rented a country club here in Dallas, at where you're at, in Dallas. We had a country club, maybe 75 people. That's all we could afford. Maybe not even 75. I think it's like 50. We're poor. Donna's parents said, hell no. That's not our culture tradition. Last minute, pulled the plug on us. We had a restaurant with over 350 people showed up. That was great. We learned about our culture, but it wasn't our wedding. It was not what we wanted, not what Donna wanted. So she learned from that, and she made it about Caleb and Emma and what really Emma wants.
Mm-hmm.
So all these uncles, aunties are bent out of shape. They're still about the consumer mindset, me, versus the contributor mindset. Hey, this is pretty unusual how you're doing it, but you know what? I want to come and bless you in your wedding. I'm going to step into it. Different, never done it, never been there. I'm going to be uncomfortable. But if they have been saved and rescued their whole life, never suffered, they're not going to make it about Caleb. They're going to make it about themselves still because they never understood suffering. And they're grown-ass adults who should be influencing, leading my son versus criticizing him. So see the long-term consequence? You rescue your son, he doesn't feel like he could do it. Then he's going to be entitled. Then his cousin's wedding's going to come up, and it's not going to be the way he wanted, and he's not even going to show up or contribute because he's a consumer, not a contributor. So really, go back to my question. Who's really suffering? You were, not your
Yeah.
son.
Of course.
He
Yep.
has a freaking... I made him redo our video for the Vietnam redemption ride 12 times at least. At least. And he thought his first one was golden. I said, hell yeah. Well, I mean, it was freaking amazing if you're doing a tourism for the country, but it didn't have the
Yeah.
brotherhood imprint that we went, all this stuff. At least 12 times he went back. And now I just sent him, based on the other video we got and all that, can you adjust it with these two other videos? He goes, you got it. I said, no rush. The other one's great. I just need those two clips in there for my final one to invite other people the next redemption ride. He said, got it. He's so teachable because he wants customer first. Like he knows he's serving others. He has great character. And he didn't get that from being entitled. He got that from suffering.
Yeah.
That gave him perseverance. Perseverance grew his character, which your son has characters in spades. And that character
Yeah.
gives him hope because he knows he could do it and he could do hard things and he has hope. He could do anything he wants now. And Christ is with
Hmm.
him. I do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Can you see where I'm going? I'm like passionate about this.
Yeah. So so you set up this frame. It's like
Yep.
setting up a budget. You know what I mean? Like you get your numbers in, you figure out what your monthly is. But now how do you protect this? How do you hold this? Because people are going to ultimately fall out of line. People are ultimately going to challenge it. So how do you get everyone back into the frame where it's like most parents that I see, they're either yelling at them, using
Mhm.
guilt trip, arguing, manipulation, control. So how would you be able to lead them back into the frame and be able to hold it and
Man,
protect it?
I think this is the hardest stage, stage 4. Because once you get the ball moving, to slow down and to reiterate the frame is the hardest thing. And I'll give you an example. So we have a client, you and I, with a dental freedom system. We're going into dental offices, teach them a system that lets the dentist be free, have more time with their family, have more time for themselves by implementing SOPs and systems that have made you a successful dentist, me as a businessman implementing other different businesses also, right? Most people don't know I have an MBA. I use it at times. You really don't. I think it just can help me build character and stuff. I've learned more by working with businesses and help them create systems. So you and I integrate all that. We have a client, and you recently done a sales training with the client in the dental office and his team, and everybody's a contributor to the final results of the sale. I asked him a simple question: have you reviewed your team and everybody's contribution to the results of that sales system? It's been over a month or two, right? He said no. I said, that's the problem. See, the last part is you have to re communicate and review the frame over and over again. Then people know you mean it. If he's not asking his employees, hey, your job in the front desk is to make sure you greet them within 3 seconds, you know their name. Your job then is to pass to this person's job, and then once they review what they're here for and all, it's just the doctor is not the only one selling at the end of the day, right? Everybody has
Hmm.
sold
Yeah.
before that person. They've said 5 yeses to finally the final one, and then they say yes to that. But you know what? If you spent the time, which you did, day training them, giving them systems, give them process, give them templates, they start doing it. If the doctor doesn't review it and review each person's contribution, expectation to contribute to the entire frame, again, their membership, then they're going to say, what? That's not really expected of me. That membership's not expected. I can do whatever I want
Or
because no
whatever
one's
I used to do
holding
at
the
my
frame.
old business. Hmm.
Yep, because no one's holding the frame. So if I'm not always reviewing, and there's called positive reinforcement, there's different ways to do this, but I'm not always reviewing, say, like picking up the dog crap. Or she texts, hey, I picked up dog crap today. I sent some celebration emojis, all that. I do it above and beyond. I reinforce that's the behavior, the membership of being in this frame of the family. Great job. I don't punitively judge you all these things. I do positive reinforcement and celebrate it, right? And then if she hasn't done something well, I'll remind her, apply the same discipline you got right there to this, honey. You've been doing the kitchen and wiping the counters and cleaning the microwave. Great job. And I love it when you do it every Thursday before 5 p.m. That's when that's done, and I look at 5:05. I'm looking for it, and I just know that you're being responsible, mature, and you're contributing to the family. And this is true because you go, hey, can I go out so and so? Listen, hey, I'm tired of telling you if you got your friends and whatnot. Every day, you know your expectation chores. If you haven't done, just inform me because that's a yes. If you haven't done it, then you already know it's a no. That's just how I don't want to be the gatekeeper. Yeah, because I infantilize her. It doesn't make her independent. Can I go with my friends? Like, shit, first of all, I don't want to be the answer to that. Because, of course, I want you to go out every night. I want you to learn social skills. I want you to have friends. I want you to have everything I didn't have. But that's called enablement. To empower her, again, is your last question. What do? You review the frame. Let her review it. Today's Thursday. Did I wipe the counters in the kitchen? Did I clean the microwave? And big one for us is we don't want Donna doing it because she will, because she's an enabler. She cooks and she cleans the stove behind herself. Like, stop
Hmm.
it. You cook, let us clean up. When I say us, I
Yeah.
mean Selah. So don't ask me if you go out. Did you do those things before 5 p.m.? Then that's your answer. Is your schoolwork done? We really don't even ask that. She does it all so fast and done always. She's making 4.0. We don't know classes she's taken.
Hmm.
But for us, it's more character now, contributing family. Did you clean the stove, microwave, countertops? Answer yourself and just let me know. Hey, I did all these things already. I'm going out with my friend. I'd rather get that every Thursday or every day. than her asking me, can she go out? Same thing with the
Yeah.
weekend. You know what I mean? So the simple answer to your question is you got to hold the frame, and to hold the frame, you got to keep on reviewing the frame to each members and their contribution to the frame. That takes a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in a group setting, group family dinner. Hey guys, this week has been amazing, and we got to do not always what's wrong, but celebrate what's right and what's working. Mom and I had a lot of free time on going our date night stuff because you guys did your job, and we want to thank you and
Hmm.
review what their job was. What did they do? They might be on autopilot, don't even know what was expected. They're just doing it now. We remind them, reaffirm them, and they keep going. Did that make sense? The fourth
Yeah. Makes
step.
sense. Yeah, it does.
You want to repeat it, or you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, you can repeat it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the
Yeah,
four
let me
steps
just do
to.
repeat it because every time we say share one, I think repeating the steps really help them see. First, you got to define
Yeah.
the frame or the culture you want. Now, listen, my family culture is independence. At work, it's different. It's make a disciple. And if you work for me or with me, like Krista does, who does our internet stuff, we have it's just production execution of their targets per that week. Everybody has a different frame. I don't want her to be independent. I want her to get crap done. So I measure her different. Then later, just you set the culture in the frame. And every space we're in usually has a little different frame. Work frame, home frame, friends frame. When I'm with my friends, the culture is totally different at work. I don't care about being independent with my friends. I want us to be brutally fun, honest with each other. No, you guys are about to come for the wedding. We get together. It's beer time, talk crap time, men, iron sharpening men time. You know what I mean? And if Caleb can make it around, I'm going to sit down. Everybody rapid fire. Just tell him about marriage relationship. Give him one blessing. It's that kind. It's not about being independent like a family. So first is set
Yeah.
your culture. It depends on where. Home, family, marriage is different too. My frame for marriage is totally different. It's not about independence. Mine's about servant. Two are one. I gotta get closer to her every time. It's serving her. And I'm telling you, that's the hardest thing for me. I want her to serve me. I'm not lying. Like you said, our Asian culture, I default to
Hmm.
that because I want to hide behind that, but that's not God's culture. Number two,
Yeah.
what's the membership of each person in that frame? What is their contribution, like you said, to hold that frame, support that frame, and get that frame, the target and the goal executed. At the office, if everybody doesn't know their contribution to the end outcome or for that year, you're going to see why you're not productive making money. At home, if everybody doesn't see you're not your friendship, your marriage, everybody needs to know their defined expectation. Third part is then you got to let people within the frame have consequences of breaking the frame.
Hmm.
Like you said, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Good. But don't rescue them. The biggest gift of knowing that they didn't support the frame is when they mess up the frame. Everybody's gonna mess up the frame. It's not the mess up that levels you up, it's the cleanup. When they clean up their mess up, they get perseverance, character, and they'll be able to hold the frame and feel good that they could do hard things. They could clean up their mess. Then the fourth thing is constantly holding the frame by reviewing the frame, bringing it up. What's important for you? What's important for me? What's important for him? What's important for her? Always bringing it up. If you don't review the frame, which we talked about like at your office, we're teaching that other dentists to have a sales system. If he doesn't bring it up, they don't think it's important to him. Even though you spent all that
Hmm.
money, that time, and training, if he doesn't review it, they don't think it's important to him. At home, if I don't review independence and picking up dog poop is not important to Selah. In my marriage, two becoming one, and I'm not reviewing constantly how she needs to be served, we're not going to hit our frame.
So I want to loop back around. So your son moved out. Now he's
Mhm.
getting married. Just what was the impact of you telling him, hey, you got to leave? If you don't want to do it the family's way, you got to take off. Years later, 5, 6 years later, how has that built him to the man he is today?
That is a very good question. That's the most probably important question you ask because it's the most important answer I'll give you. By me kicking him out when he broke the frame and he didn't want to come back into the frame, it's easy. Don't go to the gym. Go help us put everything up in the storage. All hands on deck. He chose not to be in the frame. And I'm going to give this speech at his wedding that I didn't really kick you out. I never kicked you. I yelled you out. I screamed in your face and cussed at you. So I didn't kick him out. I yelled him out, right? What happened after that is I had to put him in God's hands because I believe I was doing God's way in God's system. It teach him train a child in the way he should grow, and they will not depart from it. Train him in God's way. Now I did the best of my abilities. He chose not to be under it. Now he's in his way. He's a prodigal son. He left the father's house. He's going to go spend the money, do his own stuff, and he has to come back when he wants, if he wants. And I trust him over to God. I had to stop being God. That's the most hardest part. You can't control it. Your son's an entrepreneur. He's going to come up with some hairball ideas. He's going to do stuff, and you're going to lose money. And I'll even tell you, and you're going to try to rescue and save him, and you're not letting him encounter God. Caleb's not making some of the best choices for his wedding, in my opinion, because he doesn't understand the Vietnamese culture. He should have invited all uncle and aunties, even though his venue didn't allow it. He should have got a different venue and have 200 or 300 people there. With one venue, the venue is too small for him right now. It's like 100 people only, and then so he's gonna have a reception afterward. 200 people could come, right? But that kind of messed up where all uncle and aunties want to be there, and the Vietnamese culture is they want to bless him to start his marriage well. They'll give him a lot of money. He's gonna walk out 30, 50, $100,000 probably. You know that, right? That's our culture. He didn't do it, but I'm not gonna rescue him. I can't interfere. I gotta trust him in God's hands, and I gotta trust the way God designed things. Is we learn things the best. God could have stopped us, Adam and Eve, from eating the forbidden fruit and getting kicked out of Garden of Eden, but He didn't. Through that learning, we need God more and draw closer to God. I think God allows us to fail. Caleb's gonna make some mistakes, look back, maybe his brother's wedding after him, see all the money they make that's supposed to go to him, and he's like, crap. Maybe I should have asked my dad more about our culture. Maybe I should have asked my mom more. Maybe I shouldn't have been more scarce and more abundant. Maybe I should ask my parents for more money to have a bigger venue. There's a lot of things you gotta learn. But I think our learning comes from our failures. So I let Caleb, I didn't know where he's gonna live. I kicked him out of the house. I didn't know if he had any money. COVID just happened. But you know what I know? If he doesn't want to live under my frame, he's going to have to create his own frame. And he's saying he's a man. And when he does that, he'll create his own frame. What he did in the next year after, we were in Texas by then because our place in Colorado wasn't ready yet. So we stayed family in Texas because now lumber costs and all that, they couldn't build our house yet because it's COVID. So we're living in Texas and we said, hey, we're going to fly back. It's your birthday. And we wouldn't take you and your brothers, because all of them were living out in California at the time, out to eat for your birthday. And so mom's checking in with them. That's what dad wants to do. Is that okay with you? Because you guys haven't talked in a year. And he said, you know what? I've been going to church. He found his own church, not the neighborhood church he grew up in high school. He grew his own church. He found a group of peer friends that are godly young men. He found a couple mentors at church, and they said, hey, your dad did the best he can. I'm sure your side story, his side story, but at the end of the line, God wants us to forgive. He wants us to forgive our enemies, someone that you think will oppose harm to you. He did a great job. So consider how your dad grew up. Consider your dad's role. And those older men helped him see, like, yeah, dad didn't have anybody raise him. He did the best he can. No, he slept in the streets. He went to prison. He did all this, and he's doing the best he can. Yeah, he had anger issues and yelling tantrum problems. And Caleb, in his maturity, forgave me. Showed up at the birthday party, and we started our reconciliation of our relationship at the Korean barbecue place, because that's where they love to eat all you eat barbecue. And 4 years later after that, now he's getting married. I'm giving a speech at his wedding. Me and him, like, text, talk. I mean, I love the kid, and I love that he's independent. I love that he didn't ask me a lot of things for this wedding because he was independent. I wish he would have asked me more, but I created him to be an independent man. And the most thing I love, he takes responsibility for his consequences. He takes responsibility for his results. And that's what I love about him. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to mess up. We don't level up from our mess up. We have to mess up to level up, because in the cleanup, we level up. And he's making mistakes left and right. But the most beautiful part is seeing him clean it up. Clean it up. Makes mistakes with the brothers, clean it up. Make mistakes with the mom, he cleans it up. And level up all of our relationships. So it's messy, it's dirty, it's not pretty. There's no protection.
If you could leave fathers with just one sentence from today, what would it be?
Let your kid mess up. That's it. Because in the mess up, either they're going to keep on messing up and not clean up, and they'll never level up. But that means they just need to mess up some more. They haven't hit rock bottom. I'm talking about drug addiction, porn addiction, everything. That's the most extreme. Because they haven't hit rock bottom. They have to hit rock bottom because they don't need you to save them. They have a savior. His name is Jesus Christ. They just don't need Christ yet. So by letting them mess up, Jesus said he came for those who are weak and weary, who need rest. They're not tired enough yet. He also said he came for those who are sick, not those who are well. When your body has a cold, it's not functioning normally. You're sick, but it's just a mild cold. It's no big deal. When your body has cancer, it's sick and it's killing itself. It's eating itself. Different extreme of sickness. We try to rescue everybody when they have a cold. No, Come to me, those who are weak and weary, I will give you rest. I didn't come for those who are well, I came for those who are sick. Let your kids get sick so they turn to the Savior. Not to you, to the Savior. They need to get weak and weary so they turn out of their own ego and own strength to the Savior. It's the hardest thing as a father. I'm telling you, I would have given him, no, I'm not exaggerating. You know me, Danny. I would give him 20 more thousand, get a different venue, help him pay for the food and all that, and let him just see the money that comes in from the family celebrating culturally. You pay me 20,000 back whatever you want. You don't even have to pay me back. But you're going to see they'll bless you above and beyond. His mind was not ready to receive that. So I'm not going to rescue him. I'm not going to force it. Hey, I'm here. Do you need something? How can I help you? I want you to have the best wedding. I'm good, Dad. I got everything. Okay. Because his best and my best are two different definitions.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to intervene.
Yeah, he can't even see his best yet. He can't even imagine that best yet.
Well, because I've lived 50 years more than him. Of course I can see the
Yeah.
best that he can't see. So who am I to push it on him? He doesn't grow up that way. Let your kids get messy. Let them mess up. And it's always age appropriate when they mess up. From your son at 16, when he messes up, that's not world changing, devastating. When he messes up 27, it's not world changing. It's he messed up inappropriate in the context he's in. When they're 5 years old, who gives a crap? They're not going to eat one meal. They're not going to die. That mess up teaches them to eat on time, right, at 5 years old. Do you see what I'm saying? We think if they mess up at a certain age, their whole life is ruined. That's ridiculous. It's age appropriate. Wherever your son is, whoever is watching, whatever age, let them mess up. It's age appropriate. But that's at the age they need to learn it. They'll learn it at that age. They're going to carry it older and further, and then they're going to look like boys infantized in a man's body. They're going to be baby Jeffrey high chair tyrant kings. Give me my food. Give me me. And you're an adult sitting in a high chair throwing a tantrum. It looks ridiculous. It's not even your fault. Your parents enabled you to be a tyrant because they always gave you what you want and they give it to you immediately. That's why you're high chair tyrant. So men, don't do that to our children. Empower them by letting them make mistakes. They'll learn from their mistakes. You want them to level up? Their mess up will invite them to level up if they clean up their mess up. That's when they level up, when they clean it up, because they won't keep on repeating the same mistake.
So if you're listening today and this conversation just challenged you to view parenting, creating a standard differently, don't let it just sit with just being an inspiration. Make sure you implement something, turn it into implementation. So Sebastian created a free family frame process sheet. I'm going to attach it onto this podcast episode, and it's going to walk through step by step of creating your own culture, expectations, boundaries, and leadership framework for your family and home. So you can download it today as soon as it's released. For your family, you guys can start working on it as soon as this upcoming weekend, because healthy families don't just happen on accident, guys. They happen when fathers lovingly hold the frame. All right, Sebastian, brother, I am so excited to see you this upcoming weekend in like 2 days. So thank you so much for just sharing your wisdom, your experience, and can't wait to see you. Callie, let's go celebrate your son.
Yeah, we will, brother. Hey, in addition to, I wanted you guys to see there's a challenge we're creating at school. We want you to go to that challenge because here's why. What we want you to see from that challenge is the reason Danny and I have so much success. If you haven't heard, listen closely. I baptized with him, his son. His son didn't want to get baptized unless I was there because we've been in each other's life. We just took him for his graduation to Vietnam ride motorcycles. He's coming to my son's wedding right now. We're not doing life alone. Me and him are not perfect. You can see he's a lot more gentle person than me. He cares more about other people than me. We are yin and yang. But for some reason, we are committed to the frame of making disciples and glorifying God. And Danny and I have been doing life together. And that's what we'll invite you to, this challenge that will invite you to do life together with other men, because we're not created to do this alone. In fact, you will get your ass kicked. You'll be isolated and the enemy will tear you apart. You will feel insignificant. You'll feel that you're not able, capable, all the lies of the enemy, versus that you can do all things through Jesus Christ straightens you. God gives us example through the Trinity. He tells us iron sharpens iron. You can't do that alone. So take the challenge, the 5-day challenge. You complete that. It'll invite you to do other things, but start the journey with that challenge and men community with men. And live the life. Listen, he's coming to California to celebrate my son's wedding with me. And that's just the first one. We got 3, he has 2. And then we're going to keep on celebrating life together, grandkids together, and then be successful in all our endeavors together, because he keeps me in check. He keeps me accountable. I keep him accountable. You don't have that in your life. And it's just not me and Danny. We could talk about 10 other brothers we have, right? My encouragement to you, take the 5-day challenge and then get into community. Like the button
Yeah.
down there. This is all new for us, so we had to remind ourselves. Like the button,
Yeah, we're like
forward it to
learning.
another friend. We call it give it away, and let's grow this influence. Where a culture we had never been made disciples, never been mentored. We can break that generational curse. Danny and I are committed to making mentors, disciplers, and we're giving all the templates that we learned away for other people to do it, so they give away others. You don't even have to be a part of anything. Just take everything we give you away free and mass produce it for other
Hmm.
people. Thanks, Danny. Thanks for this time, brother. Can't
You
wait to
got
see
it,
you and the
brother.
family. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.